What is up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you live again. It's been a while. I've taken some time off. I moved. You might notice this looks different. It's not the same place. I have moved to a new location. I have been spending time with the family. I have been working my ass off at multiple jobs. Brown person, it's what we do. But what I can tell you right now is that, yes, we are back today. We are going to have new episodes streaming in mass coming in, and I'm so sorry I haven't been able to do any fight companions, but if I did, I would have been watching Submission Underground 25 yesterday along with the rest of you guys, and I would have seen our guest doing amazing things. Before we get to him, let's say a few things. I want to say hello to our good friends who have been chiming in, sending in messages, sending well wishes, also to our sponsors. Big love to our friends over at Dodgy Collective. Give them some love. And of course, if you want to go over to manscaped.com, use the promo code VerbalTap. You get 15% off of whatever you put in your cart. Actually, I think it's 20. I think it's gone up. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is our guest today is kind of a machine. I think that's probably the best way to describe who he is, what he does. If you've seen him compete, you might be terrified of him. I'm a little terrified of him. And we'll get to why in some of these photos. But yesterday, he was competing against a friend of the show, one Andy Night Varela. And I have to tell you, when I saw that they announced this fight, I was impressed. I liked the matchup of it. And he came out victorious. And to me, it meant, you know what? I've been watching this guy for too long. It's time to just talk to him. It's time to get to know him better. Because Chael put him on the microphone for just seconds. And that's not enough. So it's time to get to know a gentleman who's been crushing the scene, wins over everywhere. He's a Jits King. He's been competing and beasting Third Coast Grappling. You probably see him fighting Roberto Jimenez, and you'll probably see him fight until the end of time. But I got to tell you guys, this young man, a lot of talent, a lot of promise. Very excited to bring him onto the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, for the very first time, one Pedro Marinho. Pedro, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, Rap. Thank you for the words, man. Appreciate it. Well,
you're the one doing the hard work. I'm sitting here watching you, and I'm just thinking to myself, this dude, like, when you get put on a card, it is going to be an exciting match, no matter who they pair you up with. And you always have this look of you're about to go to war, and if you're an audience member like I am, you get excited because you go, this guy's really going to give you a great bang for your buck.
Oh, yeah. Like... can you repeat? I didn't get it.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm just saying, man, when they see you on a card, you know you're going to have a good match in front of you.
Oh, yeah. Like, for me, like, this is my style, you know, like, I want to always push the pace, go forward, always in front of my opponent. You know, he can push my way, I'm going to be on his face again. Yeah, man, this is my style. I like to be like aggressive, you know, always look for the submission. And I know that always that when I put the show, you know, it's like everybody like it, and I always go back to the shows and able to keep my work going up.
And again, your resume speaks for itself. You've been putting in great performances. Especially, I felt like there's a group of people, you, Tackett, Roberto, all these guys who during the pandemic, like, we got to watch you guys compete, and I feel like you all made us who were stuck at home have something fun to watch. And for me, there was a great sense of joy when I saw you put in the 8-man tournament, and you really, like, it was an impressive performance that you had on that 8-man tournament, to the point where even Chael started to be like, who is this guy? Why didn't somebody tell me about this guy? How did it feel to go back and watch him say those nice things about you?
Man, it was good, you know, like, was the first time for in there, and you know, see somebody like a channel, like famous, you know what I mean, like the guy who already did a lot on the sport, on the mixed martial art, talking about you good things is great, you know, and I'm always happy to surprise people, you know.
Well, I mean, it's not surprising that you would do well and thrive in those situations, but due to circumstances, you and Andy ended up becoming the main event. And in actuality, Again, I love Mason. You know, Kyle, we know him as well. But when I saw you guys were the main event, I thought, okay, well, that's still a fucking great main event. Like, that's dope. How did that come together, and how did you guys in particular get matched up? Because Chael was kind of teasing that at the end of the last Submission Underground.
Man, like, he's fast, you know, strong guy, like long. And my strategy was kind of like making him close to the cage, you know, bringing him to the wall right there, and like, because when I can get less space, you know what I mean, give less space to him, I'm able to work better my wrestling. Like, as he's too long, if I try wrestle with him like a far, it's kind of hard to get his legs, these things. On the cage, I can press him on the cage and start to work my positions. Was when I finished him on the guillotine. But he's tough, man. He's tough, strong. When they talked to me about fight him, I was excited too. I knew he's gonna be some scrap, you know.
Well, you seem like somebody who thrives in an environment where they throw really difficult people at you. So, you know, most people would try to duck hard matches, but you and him, you both seem to welcome the challenge of one another. And that's, again, why we like that sort of a thing. I knew, you know, I sent a note to Andy, because he is a friend of the show, when you guys got matched up. And it was just me going like, oh, I like this match. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know you personally, but I know your work. And I told him, I was like, however this works out, I'm super stoked just to see it as a fan. So it worked out very nicely. Walk me through the guillotine, though, because everything happened so fast. It was a fast-paced match. We knew that was going to be a probability. But how did you end up getting that guillotine? I think we have you on a slight pause here. So if you're tuning in, hello, yes, we do have one Pedro Marinho. He is currently in his car somewhere, so we're just going to blame this on him or his reception. I don't know exactly where we will see him momentarily, but we will keep a lookout for one Pedro. When I can hear him back again, we will signal. Pedro, if you're watching this, do us a solid. Go ahead and exit and re-enter the room, and we will go from there. As we're talking right now, it's a good time to mention, if you guys aren't following us over on the Grappling Hour, you can do so over at these places over here. We love your support. We miss you guys. We obviously want to do more stuff, but we get to do even more good stuff if you guys follow us at those places. And you never know, you might get in on a raffle, you might get in on some prizes that we give out over here on the show. We're always doing something kind of fun. And of course, the Fight Companions, I got a note, somebody was asking me, they're like, yo, Raph, are the Fight Companions going away? And I said, no, I'm just busy. Fight Companions aren't going anywhere. We're just going to do more and better stuff. And if I could preview so much, I'm just saying, now that things are opening up a little bit more, maybe you wouldn't be so surprised if you see me at a certain place doing a Fight Companion elsewhere. I'm just saying, these are things that have been discussed. I don't know that that means that we will 100% see them. Nothing's ever set in stone. Either way, friends, lots to talk about, lots to still do. So we're waiting over for Pedro to find his way back into the room, and once he does, we can continue from there. I can also tell you some things that we're working on. We have a very funny return of a thing that we used to do here on the show called the Think Jiu-Jitsu Challenge. I think that you guys will enjoy this. We have two prominent people, one person who is a combat jiu-jitsu winner who will be participating in it, and another gentleman who actually just competed on the road to ADCC this weekend. I think those are pretty good clues. Honestly, you could probably figure it out, if we're being honest. I think some of you are smart enough to figure that sort of a thing out. But yes, we will have them, and the purpose of this game is we give the gentleman a card with a submission on it, and they then are given 2 minutes as black belts to try and submit me with that move. Now, granted, this isn't fun for me, but I am told it is enjoyable if you either do not like me, if you want to see me die, which didn't know there is an audience for that, or you just want to see some foolishness. And in any of those three cases, I think that you are more than happy and will get a good return on what you are looking at. So just sending a note on over to Pedro. If you would please And then we will pick up where we left off in that part of the interview. But yes, over this weekend, he had a huge win over Andy Night Varela. Andy, again, friend of the show. And now we're getting to know a little bit more about Pedro as we are interviewing him live for y'all. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, hit me in the comments section. It has been a while. We have missed you guys dearly, and I want to see what you guys are thinking, feeling, all of that good jazz, because I got to tell you guys, we still have a lot to talk about with Pedro, especially in the mere fact that the man not only won, but did it in such a dominant fashion. Like, if you look at the performance that he had, it was incredible, and I'm so intrigued to hear not just how he did it, getting to know a little bit more about the actual setup finish that he had, but we're also looking at a little bit more of the behind-the-scenes nature of the Submission Underground, because that thing looked great. And I don't know how I feel about audiences on that one. Gotta be honest. I kind of like the little Submission Underground in its own little island sort of vibe without anybody watching. But, you know, again, things are starting to open up, and hopefully we get to see more of those things happening. So we'll go ahead and put another little note out to him. In the meantime, I'll take your questions if you got them. And yes, we do have things to talk about other than just Pedro. It appears over the weekend there was some hubbub about friendship and sportsmanship and trash talk, and don't worry, it's not like anybody is going to expose that for drama. I, of course, have some thoughts on it. It's a very weird situation. I still can't believe it's an actual thing. Like, I can't believe the fact that I was at my place, getting home from a gym opening where I had photographed, and then I look up and I see there had been some drama with, of all people, Mikey Musumeci and Gio. And I go, who thought that would be the course of action we would see take place? And especially one of doing a disrespect. So, anyway, I guess that is the weirdness of whatever is happening on that side of the world. What I can tell you is that, yes, it does seem odd that that was the circumstance in which we saw things lay out. But I'm interested to hear what you guys thought and feel about it, because I've seen a lot of comment sections. And I mean a lot. It is a kind of a wasteland right now in terms of how people feel about it, what they feel about it, and what they're saying about it. So there are some missing elements in terms of what we do or do not understand about this. What we could see was that it was a really good match. What we did see is that, yeah, there was a little bit of jostling, I guess, in between the match. I don't know what was exactly said, so I think that's a little difficult to ascertain. So we're really just going off of both gentlemen's words on this. What we also know is at the very end, Mikey seemed heated, and people were just confused as to why he would say Gio is low class and a bum, and why he doesn't deserve to be a black belt. It just doesn't seem... It didn't seem normal for most of us. And the qualification was that Gio had talked trash about him for learning Portuguese, and that he felt like he was being disrespected in that way, and that Gio, I don't know, said he maybe didn't want to be his friend, which, in the grand scheme of things, is not anything I had expected to see anybody have beef or drama about. What we are seeing, as we mentioned, in the comment section, Gio, of course, later on, told his side, gave his kind of thoughts and whatnot about it. I think our general take is this. I don't understand why in the comment section people are making this drama about their thoughts and interpretations. I don't understand why it has become a referendum on either Gio or Mikey. I think they're both good athletes. I think a lot of this has nothing to do with any of us who are chiming in on it. And I might argue that the certain low class and bum mentality that Mikey was speaking about is actually being espoused in those comment sections. Like, I would argue that the people who are really showing low class are the people who are saying shit about Gio, and vice versa about Mikey. I just think people are very heated in terms of how they feel about their guy. And it's natural to want to stick up for your guy. It's natural to want to go ahead and say, Gio's the shit. I like Gio. Mikey has a moral compass that's among the best of anybody in the sport. Whatever. Great. But I don't think it's really going to change my opinion on them one way or another. On either of them, honestly. I would love to interview Mikey. I would love to actually understand him a little bit better. And I think the issue is, I would love to interview him because I would love to take the opportunity to not try to sell a fight. I would love to interview him to actually get to know why he felt that disrespected and why that actually meant something to him. You know that the next step in this process is going to be milking that to sell the next thing. And if there's one thing that this taught me, it's that I don't think he's the guy you can do that kind of selling with. I don't mind trash talk. I don't mind any of that nonsense. And yes, there are definitely lines where I personally wouldn't cross, but there are a number of people who will do it and they don't give a shit. Mikey's almost deer in the headlights moment in terms of he can't believe that this is happening is kind of confusing when they bring him on a podcast with Gio for the sake of building it up. And that at the end of it saying he welcomes trash talk, and then trash talk it happens, and then he's legitimately hurt, I think shows, this isn't the right guy to go about that with. Even the reverse nice angle of like, he's here to make friends. Like, I think it clearly had an impact on him. And I would argue toward the end when he was telling people, you don't know how hard I work, like, I hope the dude's okay. Legitimately, I hope he is okay. Sometimes it is hard having these goals and accomplishing them at the highest of levels. But, like, this isn't for us, man. It is for you. So you probably need to do whatever you need to do to keep yourself healthy and happy. And I hope that you are okay because, good Lord, it is tough to see. But those are my thoughts. I don't know how you feel. Is that something that's out of line? Do you feel like, nah, fuck this guy? I am baffled. I have looked at the comment sections multiple times, and I've seen an abyss. And I think the worst part of this is the sea of people who almost buy into the narrative to the point where you have to hate the other person. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think because you like Mikey and you find him to be a good kid that you have to hate somebody else. And with Gio, I mean, full disclosure, him and Boogie have always been really nice to us. I've never seen them be unprofessional. There's a lot of other people, though. A lot. Not always the ones you think. That are kind of dicks. So having this happen is one of those things where you look at all parties involved and you think, why are we doing this? And I get the sense we're not going to be done with this for a while. In fact, I get the sense we're probably going to see these guys talking and utilizing this for a bit. So that has been my kind of inclination on this whole thing, is seeing them do it. And I know Gio challenged him to a combat jiu-jitsu match. I don't even know that I really want to see that, but sure, why not? I think they can have a rematch. I would love to see cooler heads prevail on that one. I think they will. Call it a hunch. Call it a guess. Or they're using Mikey to the best way possible, and this is all one long play. If it is, that'd be fucked up. But never forget, everything is wrestling. If this could happen in a pro wrestling headline, and it has, it certainly stands like it could happen here. I just thought this was reminiscent of Bret Hart turning and becoming a heel and talking about how great Canada is, which I guess isn't bad for Canada, but then Americans were like, boo! Boo you and your national pride. You're in a different place. So, when I saw Mikey do that, I go, is the good guy turning into a bad guy because he's such an adamant bad guy? Or a good guy? I don't know. Stuff to think about. Pedro, we're going to give you a few more minutes, and then unfortunately we're going to have to call it here if we do not hear or see back from you. And I'm wondering, again, just a guess, I am wondering if his phone died out. Because normally when somebody does not respond back in a certain amount of time, their phone kind of does this thing where it dies out. Or maybe he just didn't like the interview and said, you know what, screw this, I'm out. Either way, we will do our best to reschedule him. We do know that Andy put out some very funny things. Much respect to our good friend Andy Varela. But we do know that at Submission Underground 26, we will see Pedro return back on that one. And I do not know if we can disclose who the athlete that he will be competing against is, but knowing that he'll be back on it is an automatic guarantee that you're going to have a good match. So I'm already excited very much about that one. I hope that you guys are too. So again, going into minute 10 on this one plus, we are probably going to go ahead and call this for now. I will go ahead and do my best to rebook one Pedro Marinho. And for you guys, in the meantime, don't take this as a sad day. Take this as we were checking in on each other and we were making sure everything's okay. I'm good. You're good. We'll do this all again in a little bit. In the meantime, give us some follows and some likes on these different Grappling Hour brands. Kevin and I are going to return tonight on Verbal Tap, and we're going to get back to business as per usual. And then we will pick up and go ahead and talk about, I guess, the events that happened over this weekend, as well as other things from Submission Underground. We got a lot of work to do here, kids. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Much love to you guys. We will see you very soon. Am I supposed to say something at the end here? It's been a while. I don't remember how I close this now. Good night, good fight is on the other show. Thanks for watching. Is that how I end the show? Shit. All right. I don't remember. Love you guys. See you soon.